Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review episode 1 of Kakegurui. And this is more of a review instead of first impressions, as I have read only the first chapter of the manga, which this episode adapted perfectly. So now I'm ready to go in raw. Speaking of raw, I actually did watch this episode with the raws, no subtitles whatsoever, so I'm really happy that it was all adapted perfectly, so therefore I knew everything what was going on with this episode. For those of you who don't know, Kakegurui, aka Compulsive Gambler, has been licensed by Netflix. Therefore, we're gonna have to be relying on fan subs until it all is finished airing, and then, you know, Netflix will then probably dub it and sub it as well when the season is over. So if anything I say in this review sounds a little odd to you, then that's probably because of the fan subs. Maybe they didn't translate a couple of things that the manga translators translated. Maybe they're like different, like maybe the names are slightly different. Like it sounded like in the Japanese that they called Yumineko, like her first name, they called her Jabami, but in the manga it was translated as Giabami. So again, stuff like that, it sounds a little off, that's why. One thing that really caught my eye was the CGI right at the very beginning. And that wasn't something I was expecting, and MAPPA doesn't usually use CGI. I mean, if they do, it's usually like, you know, excellent, or it's for really small, tiny scenes here and there, which it was for Kakegurui. It was for small, tiny scenes here and there, but I didn't expect them to use CGI in the very first episode. That was very shocking to me. So could this mean that later on down the line, they may be having some production issues? I'm not really sure, because this project was announced back in January instead of, you know, during the spring season, so they have had time to work on this. I don't really know. Could we expect a recap episode in the middle of the season? Yeah. But the CGI did not make my eyes bleed. So moving on, let me talk about the opening. Oh my gosh. For those of you who know me, you know I love my legs. Like, legs? Yo, they're my fetish, right along with glasses, man. Like, yo. Arigato. That opening was freaking classy, man. I'm probably gonna get used to the song, as I'm not the biggest fan of it right now. I'm sure it's gonna grow on me though real fast. But like I said, the opening visuals, ooh, that's gonna be tough to beat. So what is Kakegurui about? It is about a school where gambling is how the students learn. Well, after school. They do have their classes and stuff like that throughout the day, but then they gamble after school because these guys are rich kids, totally wealthy guys, children of CEOs and other businessmen and stuff, big time businessmen and salarymen. And when they gamble, they're gambling off donations. That's what the chips represent. These donations for the school, the student council, and they don't actually gamble off real legit money that they have in their wallets. Until we get a new girl who comes in, Giabami. Our main protagonist, whose name escapes me at the moment, unfortunately gambles away all of his money and loses, therefore becoming the lowest of the low, a poochie, being a dog or a slave to the person that you lost to, or not actually just the person that you lost to everyone else in the school. You get a dog tag so everyone else knows who you are, and so they order this person around to get like snacks and drinks or whatever, be a freaking footstool. This dude is in the pits. But now we have Giabami, who seems all cute and innocent at first, doesn't seem to know too much about gambling, until she gets in the ring. Mary, being the person that placed the main character in the pits in the first place, she decides to challenge Giabami to their very own gambling game that the school came up with, their own version of rock, paper, scissors, where each of the students, well, 30 of them, they draw either rock, paper, or scissors on the cards, and then, you know, they play it as if they're playing with, you know, their hands and stuff, you know, rock, paper, scissors, whatever. What did I just do? The thing is that Mary told a bunch of people to get on her side. She got about 20 of them, I believe. She got a majority of the students on her side, told them to write either more paper or scissors. Again, I'm going off of my memory from the manga. And Giabami's betting, you know, playing it safe at first with 2 chips, then going with like 1,000. And then it seems like Giabami's losing, but really she's actually paying attention to her surroundings, and that's the interesting thing with gambling. I haven't really seen too many gambling anime. Then again, there's not that many out there. I know the most famous one being Kaiji, made by Studio Madhouse. I believe there's 50 episodes, maybe more. That's a really famous one. I haven't seen it though. I know I will at some time. Just give me some time, man. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. But one of my most favorite things when it comes to gambling in anime was the 2-part episode in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. Oh my gosh, that gambling episode. Oof. That's honestly one of the best episodes in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just because of how really psychological it went and all the twists and turns, because it's not just about, you know, being crafty, it's also cheating, but with class. Giabami is obsessed with gambling, hence being a Kakegurui compulsive gambler. She loves the thrill of it and doesn't really care that her opponent was cheating this entire time. She knew exactly what was going on, but still went with it because it was fun, it was thrilling, and it freaking turns her on. Did you see that, ED? It was also a stroke of luck, as that is a big part of gambling, not just the cheating. If you cannot cheat or either side doesn't even cheat, then there is luck. So Giabami ended up winning with a little bit of luck and a tad bit of craftiness. Oh boy, this is gonna be a very fun ride, especially after looking at that opening with all the possible contenders for best girl of the season and perhaps even the year. I'm looking at the girl with the eye patch who seems to be obsessed with Russian roulette. Oh god, that's gonna be a good episode. I can't wait till we meet her. Let me know your thoughts on Kakegurui. Will you give it a 3-episode test? Are you done with it? Or are you going to wait till it all gets on Netflix? I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.